Did you know that Robert Downey Jr. has been trying to get Mel Gibson into the Marvel Universe for years? Or that Russell Crowe didn't want to play Wolverine because he was afraid of being typecast as a lover of wolves? We tend to think of Marvel as being one of those dream jobs for an actor, but these are the ones who decided to turn them down. There's a lot more to Jason Momoa than a big brute. He's played the character a few times. You might remember his stint as Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones.
A crown for a king.
This made Marvel think he'd be perfect to play Drax on the Guardians of the Galaxy, but Jason found it to be a little too similar to roles he'd played before. He compared it to the time he'd played an alien on Stargate Atlantis who didn't say much and grunted, adding that he'd been there and done that.
Oh, we fought back. The battle lasted days.
It seems it just wasn't right for him, which you have to respect. But even Jason would admit that the part was perfectly cast, and that Dave Bautista was perfect. And speaking of perfect, our next actress is practically perfect in every way. Emily Blunt may not be meant for superhero movies. She wasn't just approached once, but twice by Marvel, and turned them down both times. The first was when she was asked to play Black Widow in Iron Man 2, but she stressed that she had to turn them down because she was contractually obligated to star in Gulliver's Travels, even though she'd say, "I didn't want to do Gulliver's Travels."
I wanted to work with Robert Downey Jr. It would have been amazing.
Yes.
Ouch! Luckily, Marvel gave Emily a second chance a few years later when they approached her to play Agent Carter, but again, it didn't work out schedule-wise. As it turns out, Emily's not too upset about it.
I don't know if superheroes are for me.
And why is that?
It's been exhausted.
At least that's a more normal reason than our next one. Can you picture Russell Crowe as Wolverine? It's hard to imagine anyone other than Hugh Jackman, but Russell is actually good friends with Bryan Singer, who asked him to take on the part first. Russell, however, had just finished filming Gladiator, where his character's companion was a wolf, and he didn't want to be seen as wolfy, like Mr. Wolf. All of Russell's wolf-related scenes were cut from the final version of Gladiator anyway, so he didn't need to worry. Just like you don't have to worry about clicking that subscribe button, so maybe take a minute to do that now. Still, apparently Russell got to see some concept art of Wolverine.
They show me art and stuff like that, and I was like, it doesn't look like me.
And that gave Russell an idea.
But I'll tell you who it looks like, is it looks like Hugh Jackman.
Sometimes recommendations go a long way towards making Marvel history, just not so much in our next case. Now, this one would have been a controversial choice for sure. Mel Gibson was asked to play Thor's dad, a role that ultimately went to the less polarizing Anthony Hopkins.
I, Odin Allfather.
Mel didn't really give a reason why he turned it down, simply saying that he didn't do it. But that isn't the last run-in he would have with Marvel. Mel is friends with Robert Downey Jr. He's even responsible for helping Robert get through a tough time. If not for him, who knows? We might have Tom Cruise as Iron Man. But more on that later. For years, Roberts wanted to return the favor by getting Mel involved in Marvel, either on screen, like the time Robert championed for Mel to join the Avengers in Infinity War or Endgame,
that won't be pretty.
or as a director, like the time he argued Mel should direct Iron Man 4, none of which has happened for unknown reasons.
What do you mean I haven't tried everything? What happened I tried?
How cool would it have been to have Tom Cruise as part of Marvel? Considering his daring approach to stunts, he would have been right at home in a high-action superhero flick. Plus, he played Maverick in Top Gun, which proves that he's down for the aerial stuff. This was probably the sort of thinking that went into Marvel offering him the role of Iron Man back in the day, but Tom says that as it was lining up, it just didn't feel to me like it was gonna work. He ultimately had to turn it down, but he has no regrets, even saying that he loves Robert Downey Jr. and that he can't imagine anyone else in that role, something that we might have to agree with. But in our next case, there may actually have been a bit of hurt feelings involved. Matthew McConaughey took this one personally. He was asked to take on the role of Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
My name is Ego, and I'm your dad, Peter.
But what Matthew saw was, it's successful and now we've got room to make a colorful part for another big-name actor. He says that he felt like an amendment. Around the same time, Matthew had also been offered a role in The Dark Tower.
Get ready. Tall, dark, and handsome is about to crash the party.
And he found this part to be much more interesting, praising the script and the director, so he decided to turn down Ego in favor of The Dark Tower.
Who in the hell do you think you are?
But everything seemed to work out with Kurt Russell in the part, sorta like how Benedict Cumberbatch saved the day in our next entry.
To view alternate futures.
It's important to Joaquin Phoenix that a role be fulfilling. If he were ever to get involved with Marvel, it would have to be the right role. And for a time, we thought that Doctor Strange could be that part. Joaquin had flirted with several of those films, having meetings and getting close, but nothing ever felt right, and so he decided to pass, giving Benedict Cumberbatch his chance to take his spot.
I'm Dr. Stephen Strange. I need you to come with me.
But you can't feel too bad for Joaquin. He said that everybody was really happy with how things turned out, and would eventually get his chance to play a comic book character in The Joker.
How about another joke, Murray?
Whether it was just too similar to a previous role, or the actor didn't want to just feel like an amendment, there seems to be plenty of reasons to turn down a role with Marvel. So which one of these actors were you most surprised to hear could have had a part with the MCU? Make sure to let us know in the comment section down below.